Let us continue with the explanation of the poem Television. Such wondrous, fine, fantastic tales of dragons, gypsies, queens, and whales, and treasure isles and distant shores, where smugglers rowed with muffled oars, and pirates wearing purple pants, and sailing ships and elephants. So the poet says children used to read well crafted, fantastic stories that created wonder. Their stories were about dragons, gypsies, queens, whales, islands that had hidden treasure shores in faraway lands that smugglers sneaked off to by rowing quietly. Children read about pirates, sailing ships, and elephants and cannibals crouching round the pot, stirring away at something hot. It smells so good. What can it be? Good gracious, it is Penelope. Children read stories about cannibals gathered around a cooking pot, focusing eagerly on stirring the dish which they were cooking. The poet then adopts a humorous note by saying that since the dish smells so good, they were probably cooking Penelope, since they were cannibals. Penelope refers to the beautiful and much sought after wife of the Greek hero Odysseus. So, all these stories took these children to a world that they had not imagined before, where they could experience extraordinary adventures and also enrich their imagination. The younger ones had Beatrix Potter with Mr. Todd the Dirty Rotter, and Squirrel Nutking, Pigling Bland, and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, and the younger children could read other stories written by Beatrix Potter, who was another British writer. They read about Mr. Todd, who was a bad guy, Squirrel Nutking, and Pigling Bland and Tiggy Winkle. Even the names of characters inspires one to think. For example, the squirrel Nutking loved nuts so much that he spent all his day gathering them. Pigling Bland was a dull, boring young pig. Mrs. Piggy Winkle was a podgy, affectionate old lady. The poet ends the last line here with a dash and 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 to show that the world of books is never ending. Just how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, and Mr. Toad, and bless my soul, there's Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. Oh, books! What books they used to know, those children living long ago. Children used to read these unusual funny tales that tickle your imagination and also make you laugh, such as how the camel got his hump and how the monkey lost his rump or the backside. They read about other animal characters like Mr. Toad, Mr. Rat, and Mr. Mole. So there was no shortage of lovable and lively characters for these children, and they got these through books, which is why the poet says, "Oh, books, what books they used to know, those children living long ago." Here the poet becomes wistful, remembering the good old times, and also reminds the parents subtly that when they were children, they too read these books. So, was it really all that long time ago? That is an indirect implied question and a hyperbole. So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, go throw your TV set away, and in its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. So the poet emphatically requests and exhorts the parents to get rid of their television completely and in its place install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the screams and yells and bites and kicks, and children hitting you with sticks. The next step will be to fill up the shelves with lots of books. Children will protest forcefully against this, but the poet advises the parents to ignore all the dirty looks, the screams, the yells, the bites and kicks, and even children hitting you. The poet again skillfully uses the hyperbole here to convince parents to do what good to do their children, even if they face opposition from their children. Fear not, because we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they'll now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So, fear not, with these lines, the poet switches over from his loud, convincing argument to a reassuring tone to the parents. He tells parents not to be afraid of your children's tantrums. These will last for a short time. If the parents do not give in to their children's demands, then in about a week, with nothing else to do, they will now start the feeling to read some books. And once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy that fills their hearts. So the author says, so once the children start reading, you will be amazed and overjoyed when you see them slowly and steadily enjoying books. They'll grow so keen, they'll wonder what they'd ever seen in that ridiculous machine, that nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. They will love reading books so much that now they will wonder why they had been addicted to the television. They will understand how ridiculous, disgusting, foul, filthy, and repulsive the television actually is. The poet uses very strong words here to underscore how harmful television is for the children. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. Sometime later, every kid will love their parents even more because they will realize that their parents did the best for them. They will understand that their parents helped them to make the correct choice. I hope the poem is clear to you. Thank you.